I'm Lena, a 29-year-old graphic designer from a quiet town in upstate New York. My whole life, I've felt like a shadow in my own family, always one step behind my sister Jada, the star of every room she enters. At her wedding, they stuck me in a folding chair by the kitchen, like I was some stranger who wandered in off the street, while cousins I haven't seen in years got front row seats. I walked out that night, and 10 minutes later, Jada was crying in the parking lot, her perfect makeup ruined. For once, everyone saw what I'd known forever. I was done being invisible. This is the story of how I finally stood up for myself. Growing up, Jada was the White family's golden girl. 2 years older than me, she was the kid who aced every test, won debate tournaments, and had a laugh that made everyone lean in closer. My parents, my mom, a retired schoolteacher, and my dad, who owns a hardware store, treated her like she could do no wrong.
Me?
I was the quiet one, sketching in the margins of my notebooks, dreaming of art school while my parents pushed me toward something stable like accounting. When I chose graphic design instead, they called it a hobby, even after I moved out at 20 and built a freelance business from scratch. At family barbecues, my mom would say, "Lena, when are you getting a real job?" While Jada's latest promotion got a toast and a round of applause. Jada and I were never close. She'd swoop into our house, planning mom's birthday parties or dad's retirement bash, always stealing the show. I'd help set up tables, hang decorations, whatever they needed, but it was like I was part of the furniture, useful, but not worth noticing. I didn't let it get to me too much. I focused on my clients, my designs, my own little world. But it stung, the way every family story revolved around Jada. When she got engaged to her boyfriend Mark, a finance guy with a perfect smile, it was like the whole town threw a parade. One evening, at our parents' Christmas potluck, Jada stood up with a glass of wine and announced it, showing off a slideshow of her ring sparkling like it was the Hope Diamond. My aunts cried, my dad hugged Mark, and I sat there, forcing a smile, eating the pie I'd spent all morning baking while nobody mentioned it. From then on, it was Jada's show. My phone buzzed nonstop with group chat updates, dress fittings, catering menus, photos of the Hudson Valley vineyard they picked for the wedding. My mom called me every week, but it was always about Jada. Did I see the centerpieces? Wasn't the venue perfect? I'd say, yeah, it looks amazing, and try to talk about my latest design project, but she'd cut me off with more wedding talk. I texted Jada to congratulate her, said I was happy for her and I meant it. But deep down, there was this quiet ache, like I was fading away. When I saw her wedding party list, 10 bridesmaids, 10 groomsmen, including Mark's little brother and our cousin Riley, who Jada barely knows, I realized she hadn't asked me to be part of it. It hurt, but I told myself, she's the bride. Her choice. I didn't want to make waves, so I swallowed it, like always, and showed up to her rehearsal dinner with a gift and a smile, hoping maybe this time I'd feel like I belonged. The rehearsal dinner was my first sign that this wedding wouldn't change anything. I showed up at this fancy Albany restaurant, wearing a nice blouse and skirt, carrying a custom sketchbook I designed for Jada as a personal gift. The place was alive with chatter, long tables draped in white, candles glowing. Jada was at the head, laughing with her bridesmaids, her voice carrying over the clink of glasses. I walked over to say hi, and she gave me this quick, fake smile, like I was a delivery driver dropping off flowers. "Oh, Lena, you're here," she said, then turned back to her friends, giggling about some bachelorette party story. I stood there, feeling like an idiot, before slinking back to my seat at the far end of the table. My parents barely noticed me. My dad gave a quick nod, and my mom was too busy fussing over Jada's seating chart to say hi. I left early, my chest tight, telling myself it was just one night. The wedding day came, and I drove to this stunning vineyard in the Hudson Valley, all rolling hills and fairy lights twinkling in the oaks. I wore my favorite navy dress, grabbed the espresso machine from Jada's registry, a $400 splurge that hurt my bank account, and walked in, hoping the day would feel different. The ceremony was beautiful, Jada in her lace gown, Mark beaming like he'd hit the jackpot. I clapped with everyone else, even got a little misty watching my sister walk down the aisle. But when I reached the reception hall, that hope shattered. I checked the seating chart, expecting to be with family, maybe near Riley or my aunts. Instead, my name was scribbled in pen at the bottom, not even printed like the others. Table 22. I asked an usher where it was, and she led me past the main hall, through a side door, to a cramped corner by the kitchen. There was my seat, a single folding chair, my name taped to it in Jada's handwriting, right next to the chaos of servers rushing in and out with trays. My face burned as I stared at that chair, like it was a prank I wasn't in on. Jenna, Jada's maid of honor, walked by, did a double take, and said, "Oh, Lena, you're fine here, right?" With this awkward half-smile, like she felt bad but not enough to fix it. I looked out at the main hall, tables decked out in gold, cousins from Rochester laughing with my parents, Jada toasting with Mark's family. Not one of them looked my way. It was like I was 12 again, sent to my room while Jada played the perfect host downstairs. My hands trembled as I set the espresso machine gift bag on the dessert table, right by the cake, and walked out. No yelling, no scene, just me, stepping into the night air, my heart racing with a mix of anger and freedom. I was halfway across the gravel parking lot when Jada's voice cut through the night, shaky and sharp, calling my name. I turned, and there she was, her wedding dress glowing under the vineyard's string lights, heels catching in the dirt, bouquet dangling in her hand. "Lena, where are you going?" she asked, like it wasn't obvious. I didn't move, just stared, waiting for something real. "You can't just leave," she said, her voice breaking. "Can't I?" I replied, my tone calm but icy. "You made it clear where I belong." Her face crumpled, but I wasn't falling for the tears. "It's my wedding day," she said, like that erased everything. "Exactly," I snapped. "And I got a folding chair by the kitchen, Jada. Not even a seat at a table. You had room for everyone. Cousins we haven't seen since that one 4th of July, Mark's old college buddies. But your own sister? You stuck me where no one would see me." She fidgeted with her bouquet, avoiding my eyes. "It wasn't like that. We ran out of space." I let out a bitter laugh. 22 tables, Jada. I counted. You had space for 200 people, but not for me." She didn't answer, her silence louder than any excuse. That's when it hit me. Not just the chair, but every Christmas where my gifts were open last, every dinner where my stories were drowned out by her big news. "I've been invisible to you my whole life," I said, my voice steady but sharp. "You get the spotlight and I let you have it. I showed up, spent $400 on your gift, thinking maybe this time you'd see me. But you didn't. You never do." Her eyes glistened, but I kept going. "You didn't forget me, Jada. You chose to make me feel like I don't matter." She stepped closer, whispering, "Please, Lena, don't do this now. Everyone's inside." I pointed at the glowing vineyard behind her. "Then go back. Dance, cut the cake, be the perfect bride. But don't expect me to sit in your shadow anymore." She opened her mouth, but I raised a hand. "I'm done." As I turned to my car, my mom appeared, her face tight with that familiar mix of worry and frustration. "Lena, what are you doing out here? Your sister's crying." I leaned against my car door. "She did that to herself, Mom." She sighed, like I was the problem. "You're making a scene. The seating was tight, that's all." I stared at her, the woman who'd told me my whole life to let it go whenever Jada got her way. "Tight," I said. "You let your daughter sit by the kitchen, alone, while strangers got family seats. And you think I'm the one making a scene?" She opened her mouth, but I rolled up my window and started the engine. In my rearview mirror, I saw Jada still standing there, her dress catching the light, tears streaming down her face. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. I didn't drive home right away. I wound through the Hudson Valley's dark roads, past orchards and sleepy towns, the hum of my car drowning out the noise in my head. My phone kept buzzing, texts from my mom, Jada, even my dad, who only calls when something's broken. I didn't check them. I just drove, letting years of hurt sink in. Every time I was told to be understanding, when Jada got the bigger bedroom, the newer phone, the louder cheers. I'd always nodded, smiled, taken it, But that chair by the kitchen was the end. It wasn't just a seat. It was proof I'd never be more than a background character in their story. When I got home, my phone was a battlefield. 30 missed calls, 15 from Jada, 10 from my mom, a few from my dad, and 1 from Riley, my cousin, who's always been the other odd one out. The group chat was chaos. Jada's, "Lena, where are you?" Followed by my mom's, "You owe your sister an apology," and my dad's blunt, "Call us." Riley's texted out, "Saw your chair. That was wrong. You okay?" It was the first time anyone in my family validated how I felt, and it hit me hard. I didn't reply, just turned off my phone and slept, feeling lighter than I had in years. The next morning, I skipped the post-wedding brunch. I made coffee, sketched some designs, and took a long walk through Albany's art district. My inbox had an automated "Thanks for attending" email from Jada's wedding site, with a photo of her and Mark under fairy lights. I marked it as spam. That day, I did what made me happy, grabbed a latte, sketched street murals, felt the sun on my face. No snide comments, no guilt trips. But I knew my family wouldn't let it go. That evening, Jada called, her voice soft and rehearsed. "Lena, we need to talk." I didn't hold back. "You had a year to plan, Jada. Don't say you were overwhelmed. You chose to put me by the kitchen." Silence. "Then, you're still mad." "No," I said. "I'm done. That chair wasn't a mistake. It was you saying I'm not part of this family." She tried to argue, but I hung up. A week later, I posted a blog. I included a photo of that folding chair, my name taped to it, next to a trash can with a half-eaten slice of cake. I wrote the truth. How I'd been pushed aside at every family event, how Jada's wedding was the final straw, how I'd spent $400 on her gift only to be treated like a stranger. I didn't rant, just laid out the facts. The post spread. Friends from college, clients, even strangers commented, "That's awful," and "You deserved better." Then Jada posted her own letter on Facebook, titled "To My Sister." It was pure manipulation, claiming weddings are chaotic and I abandoned her by leaving. But she messed up, writing, "I thought Lena would be stronger than to walk out." That line sparked questions. A college friend tagged me. "Wait, she put you by the kitchen?" Jenna's article on her wedding blog, "How to Ruin Your Wedding with Bad Seating," sealed Jada's fate. It detailed my chair, her dismissal, everything without names. It went viral, Reddit, forums, even a BuzzFeed listicle. Jada became a meme, her head table photo cropped to show a blurry guest with a folding chair. The fallout wasn't just online. Jada deleted her Facebook after the meme storm. Riley texted me, "Jada's locked herself at home. Mom's losing it." I didn't reply. I was too busy living. I threw myself into my designs, landing a spot in an Albany gallery show. My pieces, vibrant, abstract takes on feeling unseen, sold faster than I expected. One, called "Empty Seat," was a stark painting of a folding chair against a shadowed vineyard. People didn't need an explanation. They felt it. I was building a life that wasn't tied to my family's approval. Months later, Jada texted, "I didn't know you felt like this. I'm sorry." It was too late, and we both knew it. I didn't respond. My mom called, furious about my blog, saying I'd embarrassed the family. I told her. Jada did that when she wrote her letter. I just told the truth. A week later, a package arrived, no note, just the espresso machine unopened. It wasn't an apology, it was a surrender. The real victory came as Jenna's article kept spreading. Jada's perfect image cracked, and for once, people saw me, not as the sensitive artist, but as someone who'd been wronged and stood her ground. I skipped the next family barbecue. My parents kept calling, texting about fixing the family, but I was done playing their game. I'd spent years trying to fit into a family that didn't make room for me. Now I was creating my own space, my art, my friends, my peace. I wasn't angry anymore, I was free. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through the pain, the fight, and the moment I chose myself. If this story hit you, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every design I create, every story I share, is about claiming your space when the world tries to push you aside. Keep crafting your own truth, and I'll see you at the next canvas.